All right, we should be good. There we go. Okay. Hello. We are finally here, able to do a live stream, which is awesome. Sorry it's been a little while. Uh, it's just my schedule has been all over the place. And I was talking to my present manager about it, and uh, I do have one day that I can take consistently off. But that day I try to spend with my family and catch up with all of my other videos for the week. And it's really tough trying to get all of the recording done and the editing done throughout the week as I'm working and on top of everything else that I'm trying to do. So I really appreciate all of your patience in that regard. But as of right now, we're here, we're able to make time for this, and I'm really happy to be back for this. So hello and welcome back. uh, and I'll tell you though, I am very tired. um, I I've been kind of going nonstop. Earlier this week, I had a 24-hour day, and I've just been grinding as much as I can. Uh, Obviously, trying to take care of myself in the process too, but it's just been a lot. Um, and also, something else that I put in one of the videos I recorded but haven't fully edited yet, and something that I'm just going to put in future videos moving forward as well, is there's a lot of videos that I really want to try to get to on time. The thing with reaction videos, especially for music videos, is they're only as popular as they are relevant. So unless something in particular is just an absolute masterpiece and uh, can last for a really long time. But in terms of something like beatboxing, for example, it just, what's the word I'm looking for? it's it dies pretty quickly. Like, even though for me personally, I listen to a lot of routines that are several years old, but for me personally, I really want to be able to upload a lot of content as they've been introduced almost immediately. So if an artist puts out a video, I would like to be able to record it that day or the following day and have it out in the following few days, just to make sure that the video itself is still relevant. And I haven't been able to do that due to all of the requests that I get, which is amazing, and I'm deeply appreciative of them, of course. But I think I'm going to do requests solely for Patreon and release the requests from Patreon onto YouTube as time permits, which will give me more of an opportunity to release some of that more current modern music as they come out. So with all of that said, I'll still probably take like just regular donation requests, but those are going to be much more rare and far between, I feel. And anybody that does, I hope, would understand that there's a certain schedule that I want to try to stick and commit to while I navigate this landscape. uh, Alive. It's good that you're alive, James. Welcome. uh, Margarita? Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm doing my best to read. Hello. It's wonderful to have you here. Um, yeah, it's just wonderful to have you guys here. Just hanging out, vibing, having a good time. Uh, so, what's everyone been up to as of late? Anything interesting or exciting? Uh, did you hear the new one from Tommy J? I didn't know he released anything new. So that'll be one to put on the list for sure. um, yeah, the most recent one that I recorded is a voice play video. I don't think it's too new, but it was heavily requested and requested through my Patreon. So I recorded it. I still need to edit it, and it's going to be out on Patreon probably in the next couple of days, and then on YouTube within the next week or so. I'm so sorry that my upload schedule has been so slow too. I've been trying really hard to try to get everything out, but it's tough right now, man. And I'm so sorry. My voice is it's a little shot. Um, but I have I've just been doing so much recently, and and it's not even so much that YouTube is on the back burner. I'm still really focusing as much as I can on it. But before I even had a job, just getting one video out took a ton of time. Just recording sessions could take 45 minutes, an hour, couple hours, depending on the video. Like the longest recording session I had was 6 or 7 hours, and that was just for 2 videos. And editing them is just even more of a beast to get through. And it's not even just for these videos, it's sometimes for Patreon exclusive videos and things like that. Speaking of which, I'm thinking about modulating some of the price points on it so I can make it more affordable and more uh, accessible to people who might not have as much disposable income. But we'll see how it goes. Uh, as of right now, it's just going to be what it is. But uh, the more time that I'm able to allot to it, the better it's going to be, I'm sure. Greetings from Norway, Gypsy. Hello, Gypsy. It's wonderful to have you here. Uh, Deep Purple Child in Time. Interesting. I'll be sure to look into that. Um, but yeah, so I'm just doing my best. So I really appreciate all of your patience as I continue to navigate the landscape of my uploading schedule. Man, dude, my throat is killing me. Uh, like I mentioned, I'm trying to take some time for myself and be able to enjoy things and not get so wrapped up in just go to work, come home, work out, film or edit a video. And it's not even like fully edit it or fully film it. Sometimes I do things in increments, and it's just so much. um so I know I've already said this, but I really appreciate your patience knowing that my upload schedule has been considerably slower. Um, but I really am doing my best to put in the work for it. But yeah, with that said, just recently I was able to not only spend some time with my family, but I was able to spend some time with my partner and my best friend, and she she and I got to go grab some breakfast, and we got to spend some day at. Er, Let me rephrase that. We got to spend some of the day at a theme park, which was a lot of fun, and we just got to walk around, take in the atmosphere, the ambiance, ride a couple of things. It was just really pleasant, and I really enjoyed spending my time with her. Uh, Cherry White. I discovered you on a reaction video. Loved your show. I'm not sure what this stream is though. Plane to a newbie. Have you reviewed My Mother Told Me by Dan Vask? Uh, So, with regard to have I reviewed a particular song, I might have. It sounds like something I did. But I've done a lot of videos at this point, and my brain is on a ton of other things. So, if it's there, then it's definitely going to be in my Dan Vask playlist on my channel. Uh, so essentially what the stream is for me just to connect with the audience. Anybody that wants to be here just to kind of vibe, chill, ask me anything. I'll try to be uh, as honest and transparent as I can be without revealing too much, just in the grand scope of the internet. Um, and with that said, I've gotten word from a lot of different reaction channels and colleagues and friends just saying, you should really focus on doing shorts, or you should really focus on updating social media or something like that. And honestly, I just have such a strong disdain for social media, which is ironic considering I have this YouTube channel. But that being said, it's primarily because I had a very powerful addiction to it, and I feel so much happier and liberated in a sense just to free myself from the constant eyes over my life trying to present myself in a way that isn't actually real. I really want to make myself as authentic and genuine of a person as I can be, being honest, being open and transparent, while also ensuring the integrity of the channel, sharing the knowledge that I've gained throughout my life, but also being open to other people's perspectives and points of view, and allowing their input into my life in a way that uh, allows me to grow considerably more. I do like criticism, but not when it is fueled from a place of bitterness, if that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons why I really don't take any any really negative or harshly critical, maligned comments, let's say, to heart. Because if you're really in a good place in life, I highly doubt that your motivation for leaving a very bitter comment or a maligned comment comes from a genuinely good place. So, with all of that said, yeah, these live streams are just for you guys to get to know me to get to know you guys, and just being able to enjoy our time together. Uh, I also know that there are many reaction channels, especially for music, that do live reactions and things like that. There's a couple reasons why I don't do that, and the first one is primarily it is just so difficult to get around copyright. I have tried once in the past, but don't look for it. It's not on YouTube anymore. Um, where I've done live reactions to something, and YouTube just almost immediately said, "You're done. You can't do this," and I had to stop. And that's just a headache that I don't really want to navigate around. Um, but also, I think this is just a really good time to get to talk to you guys, for you guys to get to talk to me, and just be able to engage with each other in a way that's authentic and meaningful. Uh, Hello from freezing cold Michigan. Where are you from? It would be cool to visit Michigan. I am from California, and something that I really enjoy doing is just being able to not stay in one place for too long. Uh, my family is from California, though, so that's where I presently reside. But there was a time when I got to study abroad in Germany for a little while, and I really, really enjoyed my time there. It was a little difficult because beer is everywhere, and it's actually more expensive than water in some places. So, and as someone who just pretty much drinks water just all the time, my two drinks of choice pretty much in my everyday life is chocolate milk and water. So I'm not that much of a drinker anymore, but at the time I really was. But yeah, just beer everywhere was a little challenging. But other than that, I loved the culture. The people were wonderful, and I would love to go back. Um, but even beyond that, I just really want to travel the states more. I've only been to, I want to say, like 9 or 10. Um, and I would love to be able to just travel the world. I would love to visit Japan, China, the Philippines. I'd love to visit pretty much everywhere. My goal in life is to be able to understand people's points of view, understand what their connection to their culture is, how they navigate their life in accordance to their milieu and the circumstances in which they live, either in the society that their government has created for them or depending on their tropical regions as to what their specific weather would allow them to do, kind of thing. How that shaped their own personal view of the world. I think human beings are just so incredible and have so much potential and capability beyond not just what it is that they can see for themselves, but just collectively. And I am just so eager to learn more about others and their experiences in the world and things like that. So I would love the opportunity to travel more. It's just really expensive, especially living in California. So hopefully over time, though, I'll get more of that opportunity as my channel continues to grow, as I get promoted in my job, things like that. Don't let anyone should on you. Do you? Yes, we need authenticity. Huh, thank you. Yeah, just for me personally, I don't really so something about me is there's a part of me that has a certain level of recalcitrance and or a certain level of disdain for authority. I really don't like being told what to do. I like being able to consider my options myself and making decisions for myself in a way that I know will, yes, benefit others, but benefit me. And um, ultimately, if there's something that I know that I can do that will benefit others in a way that is really fulfilling for me, then I'll absolutely commit to it. And early on in the channel, I noticed that there was a lot of challenges that I was running into. I was trying to find my groove, kind of thing. And I wasn't even sure how long the channel would last. I was just hoping that it would take off in some key way, but it was very difficult to navigate. And there's a lot of other things that I would like to experiment with in the future, but as of right now, I'm just focusing on music reactions. But in this particular sense, I was very unsure. And then I got a comment just thanking me because they were experiencing such a tremendously challenging time in their life and that my videos were not only educational but just to see a friendly face and someone that was being very transparent in their thought process was a breath of fresh air because at that point in their life it felt like everyone around them was censoring themselves or being fake, putting up this persona but not actually portraying who they are as people, which I see a lot of in the world. So uh, yeah, there's that. But I know, how do I express this? It's really difficult in the world to be an authentic self. We are social animals, so we want to fit into the group. And there's a certain level of formlessness, and a certain level of being like water, taking on that Bruce Lee philosophy, and ultimately coming to a point where there's not elements of ourselves that we necessarily sacrifice, even though in some people that is the case, but we're not being 100% honest because we want other people to like us, to accept us, so we won't be ostracized from the group or society or our milieu or wherever it is that we want to be accepted or need to be accepted in some cases, i.e., your job. So it comes to a point where if we can just come together and express views openly without prejudice or harsh malignment uh, or rebuke, then I think we're going in a step in the right direction. We need more open dialogue, more honest dialogue. And something that I think about constantly is, and this is something that I would like to experiment with in the future on the channel, either this channel or another channel that I might make, is taking philosophical ideas and simply discussing them. I have done a lot of reading into people's different philosophies on life, whether it be Stoicism and cynicism or Buddhism, religion as a whole, what religion and science have in common, what separates them, uh, varying aspects of differing philosophies, whether it be from the author Viktor Frankl, who was a concentration camp survivor, or Robert Greene, who I quote on the channel pretty often, honestly. His books have absolutely shifted my perspective on many things, and I deeply appreciate him for it. But there's a lot that I would be very interested in discussing and getting to know other people's perspectives on. And a really good example of this would be, in my life, I have many colleagues and many acquaintances, but there are only 5 people that I actually refer to as friends. And I pretty much only talk to 3 of them more regularly. And, but the other 2 obviously know they can come to me whenever they need me. But to me, being a friend is a full-time job. You know, they call you at 2 a.m, you're there. They need you to be somewhere, or they want you to be somewhere because they are experiencing a really great high or a really troublesome low in their life. You're there, and it's no questions asked. You know, when it comes to me, they know they don't come to me just to feel really comfortable about something or need a certain level of affirmation. They'll come to me because they know what it is that I'm strong in providing, which is an honest truth about something. And if the honest truth happens to be something that really boosts their confidence, then they know it's the truth. And that's the kind of person that I try to represent to my friend group. And with my friend group, no single person in that group is the same. And I don't mean to say that in terms of a particular identity. I mean to say that in a way of none of their values are the same from each other or of mine. We are all so vastly different in our morals, in the way that we see the world, in our philosophies on the world, the different things we believe in, things like that. And for many people I see in the world, that is the complete antithesis as to what a friendship is, where people want a friendship to be, well, we share the same values and we share the same, all of these things, but especially with my partner, especially with her, we're constantly saying to each other, I really appreciate our differences, because that's a confirmation that we both love the fact that there are different elements about ourselves that make us unique individuals, that we make the conscious decision to be together. And we're constantly learning from each other, growing from each other, expanding our worldviews because we don't think the same. And values themselves can be very vacillate, but they're just in a constant state of flow. Even if you hold on to and are very stubborn about particular values, values that are very inveterate to your character, then that's completely fine, but it doesn't mean that they have to be like that forever should new evidence be presented against it that more aligns with where you are in life at that time. You know, I'm someone that doesn't really hold on to a lot. um like I'm not a materialistic person. You can tell by how barren my room is. uh like I have a couple of whiteboards that I use to look at things to remind me of things every day. Um, where there are some over that are out of frame that are just all quotes that really inspire me and really help shape my character, the kind of person that I want to be. There are some behind me here that are more focused and targeted on my daily resume, what it is that I want to achieve per day, what it is that I want to achieve in terms of my goals, uh, but also being able just to live in the present, not worry too much about the future or stress too much about the past, just being able to exist in the present, love the present, enjoy the beauty of the present, learn from other people. And yeah. Um, and something else that I really love doing is I love going and sitting in a cafe and setting up a chessboard and just inviting people to come over to me and either play a game of chess or just have a conversation about life. And more often than not, people come up to me asking for a game. They ask me what book I'm reading because I'm usually just reading something while waiting for people to come up to me. And we just have a conversation about the book. And that conversation leads into philosophy and topics about life. And it's really, really beautiful. And I love being able to connect with people on such a human level. And there's just something so mystifying about that. Just being able to experience the world through another person and hear about how they ended up to their current views and what makes real sense to them according to those views. And even if they're completely antithetical to mine, just hearing that a person isn't going to embody views if they don't make any sense to them. Uh, well, that's a little tricky. Some people just truly want to be accepted, so they'll take on any views of the group. But more often than not, I'll find people that are really strong in their own sense of individual thinking, uh, and there's just something so poetic and profound about having an open discussion, even if the views themselves are antithetical to each other, in a way that we can have open and respectful dialogue. And I just really, really love that, man. uh, Greetings from Poland. Sorry, I can't read without my glasses. Hania. Hello. Sorry it took me so long to get back to the chat here. 4 degrees. Oh, that sounds terrible. uh, Wonderful travel goals. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, of course. Um, but yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind, is what I'm ultimately trying to say here, which is the idea that people sharing certain politics or people being in complete alignment about their current worldview and that being the only thing that connects people together. Uh, I don't know. I think that's actually kind of a shame because, one, politics can change over time, and certain views and certain elements of your character can change over time. But the way, but your character, how you choose to be, the kind of person that you go out into the world and express yourself as, not in terms of necessarily your self image, but the real person, understanding not just what your strengths are and trying to emphasize those strengths for the public or social media, but actually being aware of your own weaknesses, your own vices, the things that make you feel really disgraceful but are just part of the human experience. Being aware of them, understanding how that shapes you, and doing everything you can to not necessarily combat it, but to just have an awareness of it and recognize how it shapes you and the steps you can take to either navigate your life with it, navigate around it so it no longer becomes an inveterate habit, or whatever the case is. The idea is turning your strengths into specialties and turning your weaknesses into strengths, and recognizing uh, what kind of vices are within you to be aware of, to have that level of self-awareness, to not just avoid the negative aspects about yourself and think that they're not there to begin with, which of course they are. So it's just having a certain level of self-awareness, saying that, oh, this person wouldn't do this, or oh, I wouldn't do this, when in actuality, yeah, human beings are capable of producing the greatest goods and the greatest evils in the world, which only goes to show that, a person who's committed terrible acts their entire life is still capable of producing a genuine good for the world. And there's many people in the world who would say, oh, he did it for, or she, whoever, did it for their own selfish reasons, so it wasn't really a good act. Well, it very could have been, but there's just a certain level of uh, these mud colored glasses that we look at people through if they've really wronged us or wronged people who mean a lot to us, which is very natural. We want to protect those we care about. But at the same time, it's very much we need to be able to look at people for what their character is, and not just look at them based off of the certain lenses of the glasses that we're looking through. Like, I know for, like, even for music, for example, there are some artists online that are very humble and very sweet, so they're likable. And on top of that, they have a lot of talent and skill, which has been developed over a long period of time, and they're enjoyable to listen to. So, with those two things combined, they form a fan base that is extremely powerful, vehemently powerful, and they will defend that artist to the ends of the earth. And the slightest bit of criticism against them will be met with brutal retribution. But at the same time, it's a matter of, where is the criticism coming from? If the criticism is coming from a place of, well, let's take me for example. If I were to provide criticism to an artist saying, there's these certain techniques that I either don't understand or I just don't really enjoy listening to, that can come from a place of being subjective, where there's just certain things that I really don't like listening to in an artist. But there could be some technical elements that could be performed better and have better execution should the artist actually reflect on it or consider it. And but it wouldn't really matter, because people would be viewing me immediately as, or just immediately being defensive and viewing me as a villain. Very binary in that way. Us, the people who love this artist, versus them, the people that don't like the artist. Where I can like the way an artist sounds, but not like all of their decisions. Very similarly to the people who are closest to me in my life, outside of my family, being my friends, I love them for the people they are, for their character, but that doesn't mean that I like a lot of their decisions. Uh, and that is very true for their politics or their views on the world. Um, and, I think it just comes to seeing the real beauty in others, what makes people really beautiful. And to me, the thing that makes people beautiful, aside from just the fact that they simply exist as uniquely themselves, in the idea where they are composed of millions of years worth of decisions and happenstance events and calculated ideas throughout all of human history that has ultimately resulted in the present, in their specific DNA now. And I think just the fact they exist is a near impossibility. So I'm deeply appreciative to be able to communicate with anybody regarding anything, because I think human beings are so magical in that way. Um, but even taking that a step further, it's this idea where uh, just being able to communicate our life experience honestly, not just trying to promote righteousness, self righteousness, or virtue, but rather expressing open thoughts that depart from whatever group we necessarily identify with. And just say, these are my genuine thoughts on this issue or this topic, even though it doesn't align with the rest of the group. I think there's something incredibly courageous and powerful about those moments. Like for me personally, I um, this statement lands me in hot water a lot, but I don't care. It's the truth. I don't identify with any particular community of people. I always engage, like I engage with communities, but there's a very strong detachment I have from them. I don't get sucked into the group morale or spirit. I always observe it from an outsider's lens to see, well, what does it mean to be a part of this group? Because coming from someone that has been involved with the group spirit and group morale, it's very intoxicating, and it almost becomes addictive to say, I'm willing to accept any value of the group, even if it is absolutely insane, just because I know if I were to say anything else, it would lead me to being ostracized from the group. And since this group's values are my values, I would be an empty shell without this group. So anything they say goes for me as well. And that just drove me nuts. So when there came a time in my life when I just detached myself and started constructing my own values based off of the world around me, and I started doing a lot of in-depth research into what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's the nuance and beauty of things like faith in oneself, faith in the universe or in God in some key ways, faith in the natural order of cause and effect and things like that. What does it mean to be a truly good person? And are you capable of being a truly good person regardless of vice, or including vice, I should say? And and there's just so much nuance and so much complexity that goes into being a genuinely good human being. And there's no, in my view, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can only do the best you can given the circumstances that are not only available to you in your life, but also the actions you take in order to achieve a certain level of greatness. And I don't fault anybody for falling into the whims of the group. But for me personally, there's no group that I heavily attach myself to or consider to be a home for me. I'm very much someone that really enjoys just observing and reflecting and seeing the beauty and nuance of any group alongside seeing some of the pitfalls within it. So if I end up making friends with people that are a part of that group spirit, I'm able to provide them genuine and helpful advice just based off of my own observations of the group in which they identify with. So for me personally, I'm very much an outlier in many key ways. But that in a certain key sense actually fulfills me. because I do have a community of people that I love to be around. One, I know that my family is very loving and supportive, and I know that I have them with me in my heart always. And my friend group, regardless of wherever they fall and however it is that they choose to live their lives, they know that uh, even though I have certain elements about my character that aren't necessarily adored, um, they know that I am an incredibly compassionate person and that I am extremely loyal to my friend group, and uh, I am always there for them. I am a genuinely good friend. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm going to be comforting all the time. But they know they can come to me for honesty or a brutal truth in the way that I see it, or just expressing certain truths about the world or a particular situation, which kind of helps them ground themselves if they're experiencing incredible anxiety or depression or stress of a particular situation, and they're just kind of floating in this abyss and they just need to be grounded. I'm definitely the person they can come to feel that sense of groundingness, to create a foundation of which they can build their lives on top of. So at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to what kind of person do you genuinely want to be, and are you truly capable of making decisions that are outside of the group spirit, or that are a part of the group spirit, but you came to them naturally through your own means, not because the group has commanded you to do so, which is all the more beautiful, in my opinion. I often use the metaphor of I can take 20 random people, throw them all around a bonfire. We can have two people just playing drums and dancing where everybody else is just dancing. And after that one experience, all people involved in that bonfire dance can now say that they have a shared, beautiful, profound human experience together. And there's something just so beautiful about that. Regardless of your values, regardless of what political identity you have, or of what physical stature you are, whatever your job is, or what, no matter what it is, you have shared a truly beautiful human tribal experience with all of those other people, and no one can take that away from you. And there's a certain powerful bond that you can form with those people, even if you never see those people again in your life. You know that there's something powerful and beautiful there. Like, another example of this could be with my ex-girlfriend. uh, she was someone that I deeply loved, blindly so, and uh, the relationship ended very harshly. There was a lot of tension and drama that just ended up completely crushing me. And at the end of the day, uh, even though I recognize my faults, and there were a lot of elements about her that really, how do I express? I'll just be honest about it. Um, Even though she ended up cheating on me, there was a lot of signs before that that I was just being abused and kind of destroyed. Um, but even now, I realize how much she was internally suffering, and how great of an impact her childhood trauma has left on her, imprinted on her. And to this day, even though I haven't spoken to her in several years, I sincerely hope that she's doing okay and that she's taking steps to lead a better life. Because to all of the people who experience hardships but are able to reconcile with those hardships and use them to their advantage to become stronger, healthier, happier people, and in turn use that energy to influence other people to become stronger, healthier, and happier people, I think that that's just amazing. And to me, that's a sign of true strength. It's being able to stand up and say, I have experienced great injustice, great hardship, great suffering, great struggles, and I still choose to go out and lead the best life imaginable, not just in terms of hedonistic desires, but in pursuit of things that are genuinely fulfilling, in pursuit of things that genuinely lead others to happiness, to beauty, being the shepherd in that way, not necessarily calling other people sheep and you being the leader of those people, but more just saying that presenting a certain level of inner strength and presenting that outwardly, it's a really beautiful thing to see. And it's very motivating for people in their own life, even if it's subconsciously. You just look at someone like that, and yeah, you could be prone to envy or jealousy at first. Say that that person is only happy because they were born with it or because uh, of X, Y, and Z reasons. But ultimately, if you can really look at a person for how beautiful they are because they choose to exist in a state of happiness regardless of the hardship that has befallen them, I think that that goes miles. And yeah, there are of course going to be people who still resent you, who still hate you, who still want to drag you down with them. And the best thing you can do for those people is just keep being the example you want to be, and it's really hard to do that. But at the end of the day, we have to pick and choose our battles. We have to understand what it is that we can do. And there are some people that are extremely obstinate, that are extremely stubborn, that are trapped in their inveterate ways, and we accept that. Everybody is going to experience the world differently, and that's okay. Even if it's led in any pure particular emotion, which, like, if people just live their lives blindly anything, even if it's joy and happily, it's doomed to fail because life isn't like that. We are human beings. We are blessed and cursed to experience the full array of emotions, whether it's greed, envy, anger, any of the seven cardinal sins, essentially, or joy, elation, etc. So, love. So it just comes to the point of what is it that we can do to understand these emotions within ourselves, recognize the emotions of these within other people, and how to navigate them honestly and earnestly without the intention of harming others, but recognizing we're human beings, we're going to make mistakes, and just learning from them to the best of our ability. Let me catch up here. Sorry about that. What a great friend group you have described. Rare, I have a good friend who said, upon our first mention of getting together to chat, I have to warn you, I'm not for everyone, but she is unafraid to be her authentic self and gave me courage to be my true self. And that sometimes involves facing the brutal truth. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really happy that you have a friend like that. Not a lot of people do. It's really hard to meet someone like that or to structure that for yourself, especially. Uh, in order just for me to be even self-aware, because there was a strong period of my life where I was very not self-aware. Just for me to become self-aware, I needed to be completely crushed by the weight of the world. uh, and for 10 months, essentially, I was just under my bed crying with the weight of 1,000 tons on my chest always. Um, and that was just at the worst point, but it was a constant build of just depression over the course of like 15 years. So just for me to get to this point has been an entire life's journey already. And I have the rest of my life to constantly keep growing and expanding. So, it's all just based on your view and what it is that you truly want for yourself, what you're willing to accept about the world. So I'm really happy that you met someone that can really bring that out of you and be that rock in a key way. And for you to open up and be your honest, authentic self. That's beautiful. Kudos to you. Uh, I identify as human, but there may be imposters in my group. Love, even if they don't love you back. Forgive, even if they're not sorry. Don't allow anyone or anything to steal your joy. Yeah, man. Like, just there are some things in the world, and this is something that I've been reflecting on, where a person that I deeply respect had said, life isn't always about love, in the sense that if there's something that is genuinely fulfilling, like, I'm just using this as a particular example, but this can apply to anything, just in the sense that if you use learning an instrument or learning a sport, for example, and you want to become a professional in that instrument or sport, not every single moment of you learning the music, learning how to read sheet music, learning how to get your fingers adjusted to the piano, using that as the instrument, or using baseball as the example, learning how to hit fastballs, learning how to not get hurt, learning how to read situations, read the field, things like that. There's not every single moment is going to be enjoyable. In fact, most of the moments are going to be very tedious, and it's going to feel like bitter work. You're just grinding through everything. But the moment that you actually start to see progress and see results, and a great example of this would be when I started working out. Hated it. I didn't even start with muscle building, which is what drives most people to feel encouraged to go back. For me, it was just cardio, and I hated it so much. But I had a goal. I had visions for myself. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to become strong. I'm going to be the protector that I want to be for the people that really mean the most to me in my life, and will enable me to act on certain things should I need the strength, the physical strength and inner strength to execute on, should I need those particular traits in key emergency moments. So I just kept going to the gym, kept doing cardio constantly. Over a year, I kept doing it. And then eventually I just said, I want to start muscle building. So I started muscle building. And even though the cardio became a little less, I still do it. I've never felt stronger and happier in my life. And I actually started seeing results. And then I actually started enjoying the process of working out. But it took me 2 years just to enjoy the process. It's not always about love or joy, even though those are beautiful things. I think the reason they are beautiful is because we don't experience them all the time. If we lived in a pure utopia of just beauty, we wouldn't be able to appreciate the beauty as much without the darkness in the world to clash against it. There's something so mystifying about beautiful moments, because we know in a world of either mundaneness or of natural cruelty in some key ways, that if we are able to express moments of pure human connection or pure kind-heartedness, pure authenticity, and just show things that showcase real human potential, then those moments are further amplified because of the clash it has against a lot of the things we witness in our day-to-day, especially through social media. So I think that the more we just engage with like self-reflection, meditation, understanding oneself and what drives us to performing certain things, even if the things that drive us are not pure, are actually considered to be not the most righteous of values, but we don't have to share that with everybody in the world. We just need to be able to recognize it in ourselves, use that as a source of fuel and motivation to go out into the world and actually do something really good and productive with it. It's like this idea of feeling immeasurable anger is not necessarily a bad thing. Uh, as long as you are capable of recognizing the anger in yourself. And when you feel that level of anger, that level of intensity inside you, all of a sudden you are charged with so much energy that you didn't have before. And with this energy, you can utilize it and channel it into something really productive or really beautiful out into the world. That doesn't have to be stemmed from the source of the anger, which might be bitterness, jealousy, resentment, etc. But you can rather harness that energy and manipulate it towards good action. So it's really good just to be able to recognize, yes, I have this very strong feeling of revenge. Yes, I have this very strong feeling of resentment towards this person who has wronged me. And being able to use that energy towards goodness. And it's not like you're going out into the world saying, yeah, I have experienced such a powerful drive to kill this person or whatever. But it's more of the idea where you just take a particular emotion that you are fully aware exists within you and can be brought out to the surface by any cue in your day-to-day, and just being able to manipulate it as a source of energy for you to execute things on the day-to-day. And it might not be necessarily for the enjoyment of it, but it might be because it genuinely fulfills you. Like, for me, going to a park and picking up trash, listening to Spotify, it's not necessarily something I deeply enjoy, but it's something that fulfills me. It's something that feels like it's the right thing to do. And even though I don't do it as often as I'd like to, at the moments that I really do do it and fully engage with it, I feel so at peace with myself and more elated than I've been in a long time. And that says a lot because I typically feel a tremendous sense of joy in most of what I do. So, it's all based on perspective. Amen. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember one time, I had just finished studying abroad in Germany, and on my plane ride home, uh, there was a girl who was from Germany that I was just sitting next to, and it's a long plane ride home. So for the next 13 hours or so, she and I were just having a conversation. She really enjoyed traveling the world. She said that she was planning on uh, visiting America after the trip that we were going back for. She was planning on coming back to America at some point in the future, and uh, we just talked, and it was a really beautiful moment. I haven't spoken to her in I want to say close to like 5-6 years, but just knowing that I was able to make a really powerful acquaintance with someone that I would have never have otherwise met without being on that kind of journey. It really puts things into perspective how rich the world is beyond just our bubble. So, always just something to keep in mind that the group cannot dictate who your enemies are. The group cannot dictate who your friends are. Only you can do that for yourself, having a certain level of detachment and just kind of existing in the world in a way that actually promotes independent thought and promotes aspects about who you are and what it is you want to set out to achieve for yourself without the need for uh, verification or a certain sense of validity from the group or others, but just feeling a certain sense of pride in one's own ability to get the work that you know you need to get done. There's something so poetic about it, in my view. But yeah, so uh, you genuinely seem like a very kind-hearted soul. I hope you're able to overcome all the obstacle life throws your way. I really appreciate that, Anne. Thank you. Um, Life has certainly thrown a ton of things my way. um, Many of which that I haven't necessarily shared online, but uh, out of everything, it just comes to the point of, regardless of what life throws your way, are you still able to display inner strength, to show signs of hope, regardless of being crushed? And I think that really marks people as being truly strong, you know? Uh, at least my view of it, which is always subject to change in the future, become a little bit more broad and a little bit more nuanced. But presently, that's how I see it. But with that said, it has been 60 minutes. That's going to be the live stream for today. I want to thank all of you for being here, listening to me ramble on. But I deeply appreciate you being here. I am trying really hard to make these once a week. I really appreciate your patience with regard to these live streams, my upload schedule, but I assure you I am working as diligently as I can to get the videos out. And again, I'm going to focus on making sure that donations are less, and I only accept requests through Patreon, just so I can make sure that I'm getting out videos that are current to the time that they've been uploaded. Because the more requests I get for older videos, the less I could do videos that have just come out. So I really want to make sure that I'm actually getting to these videos. But I want to thank all of you for being here again. I can't appreciate your gratitude and your patience and kindness enough. Like I get so many comments just thanking me, and people that just really enjoy the reactions, and that means so much to me. So very much, and every single time I say this at the end of my videos, I genuinely mean it. So I want to further emphasize in this live stream to be very honest and transparent with all of you. This channel would not be successful. This channel would not be like as good as it is without you. And I am so deeply appreciative of all of you for being here, engaging in the comments, liking the videos, or just watching them in your own time without doing anything else. And just the fact that you guys are here, just enjoying it means more than you guys know. You know, I can't tell you how appreciative I am for all of you being here, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I am really excited to see all of you again in the future. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, everyone.